That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
That came in only like 32 minutes.
Yeah, good.
That's crazy. That's a Christmas gift to me when I edit this son of a bitch. Hey everyone, it's Elliot.
And Todd. Welcome to Two Designers Walk Into a Bar, an ongoing conversation about pop culture and iconic design.
Today we're going to be talking about a Christmas icon that began as a marketing stunt.
Let's be honest, isn't Christmas just one big marketing stunt?
Hey, don't be a total Scrooge. We're with friends, so let's get into that Christmas spirit.
Or spirits.
Oh, great idea. Today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite red-nosed reindeer, Rudolph, and his origin story from a department store's marketing department to the front of Santa's sleigh.
So ask the bartender for a couple of Rudolph's Tipsy Spritzers.
Because it's that time of the year back here in the bar.
Yeah, Tipsy Spritzer would be good right about now.
It would be. Well, why don't you go get us a couple while I jump into our story?
Okay, I'll do that after you answer the burning question I have. Wasn't that your dancer name in college?
Tipsy Spritzer?
Tipsy Spritzer, yeah.
That was our crew. That was our whole dance crew.
That was the whole crew?
Yeah, we were the Tipsy Spritzers. You probably don't want to dig too deeply into that name to figure out how we got it.
Yeah, I'm going to take your word on that one. I 100% believe that. But yeah, it was a little bit of news to me that our favorite red-nosed reindeer was actually a product of a marketing department. So I'm eager to know about this.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question before we get into this?
Yeah.
How many other red-nosed reindeers are you aware of?
Well, none. Yeah. So I guess our only and favorite red-nosed reindeer.
Okay.
Can you name all of other Santa's reindeer?
Well, let's see. There's Todd the redneck reindeer.
Ding, ding.
Out of the way, Santa. I got toys to deliver.
There's Elliot, the red baboon-ass reindeer.
And then there's 6 more.
Yeah, nailed it.
All right.
All right.
So let's get into the legend of Rudolph here. Let's start at the beginnings of Rudolph. So, Todd, have you ever heard of, or do you remember when they used to print things? And remember when the internet was printed? Like when you had
Way
to buy
back in
stuff?
the 1900s.
Yeah, when you had to buy stuff through things like a catalog.
Yeah, boy, that was forever ago.
It was. But you probably remember, if you never set foot in one, you probably remember the catalogs for Montgomery Ward, right?
Yep.
So Montgomery Ward was a giant mail order and department store business that was started in Chicago back in 1872.
Okay.
And like all major businesses, they had a promotions department for in-store marketing, catalogs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. Like Macy's, Sears, JCPenney's. They all had similar setups.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's jump ahead a few decades. Early in 1939, a guy named Robert L. May, in his 3rd year at Montgomery Ward as an in-house copywriter, was asked by his boss to write a, quote, cheery children's book, unquote, for Christmas shoppers.
Joyous.
That's right. Getting into the spirit. And his boss also suggested that, quote, it should be an animal story with a character like Ferdinand the Bull, unquote, which at the time had been recently released as a short film by Walt Disney. So you can start to see this sort of pop culture. Even in the 30s, Disney was already influencing stuff, right?
Yeah. I just can't even imagine how funny the story would have turned out if it was a red-nosed bull that led Santa's sleigh instead of a reindeer.
It trashed it. It just rammed into it. That's a different kind of, what is it? That'd be something like a malt liquor company. Anyway.
Look that up, kids.
Yeah.
Okay, back to your story.
Okay. So prior to that time, Montgomery Ward actually had been buying and giving away coloring books for Christmas. So, like, this book idea wasn't totally out of left field. But the company decided that creating a book of their own would save money and be a nice goodwill gesture.
Yeah, plus then they'd have total and complete control over the whole thing.
Right. They could brand it however they wanted rather than just, saying, whatever, this coloring book compliments of Montgomery Ward's, right? Speaking on a personal level, for May specifically, this request came at a difficult time in his own life because his wife Evelyn was dying of cancer, and he was struggling to support his family and pay for her medical treatments on a salary of then $5,000 a year. And that's roughly $113,000 today.
Wow, yeah, I was going to ask you what the equivalent was. You said that was 1939. Yeah, I can't imagine back like 1939 dealing with cancer. So much was not known at that time.
Right.
And, $5,000 a year. It's not much, so good on him.
Yeah, and he actually wrote about this time. He said, quote, "I was heavily in debt at age 35, still grinding out catalog copy. Instead of writing the great American novel, as I'd always hoped, I was describing men's white shirts."
And I wonder how many words it takes to describe that. Well, they're white, and they're shirts, and they're for men. So there you go.
They got a hole for your head, a hole for each of your arms. Yeah.
I guess you could mix the words around, couldn't you? Well,
Yeah.
they're shirts that are white, or they're white that are shirts.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Not compelling literature, right?
Poor guy.
Yeah. So, in writing the story of Rudolph, May decided to make a reindeer the central character of the book because it was a Christmas animal. So, it's not like he invented the idea of reindeers for Christmas. I mean, you think about the poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided that the reindeer had to be a sort of ugly duckling who had a lot of heart to make it work with Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And May said that he, quote, drew on memories of his own painfully shy childhood when creating his Rudolph story, unquote. He and his then 4-year-old daughter, Barbara, together with a Montgomery Ward artist named Denver Gillian, visited Chicago's Lincoln Park Zoo one Saturday to get a better idea of what Rudolph might look like.
Cool. Yeah. Interesting how he came to that sort of creative brief with it was sort of an ugly duckling, oddball character, symbol of Christmas. But yeah, that's pretty smart. And so he and the artist and his daughter all went to the zoo together to sort of discover what this character could be.
Yeah, you sort of had art and copy and your target customer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
cool.
Pretty smart. So he starts working at home and in his spare time at the office because he still had to write about men's white shirts.
I know. Yeah.
He wrote the book in about 50 hours total. And as he finished drafting each part, he would read it to his daughter.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So when his wife Evelyn died on July 28th, 1939, May's boss, the one who had requested he write the book, offered to relieve him of the project and have someone else finish it. But May declined and finished the book himself, this poem, in late August. And he said that on the day of its completion, quote, "I called Barbara and her grandparents into the living room and read it to them. In their eyes, I could see that the story accomplished what I had hoped," unquote.
Yeah, wow. Like, there's your perfect focus group. It sounds like he knew he was onto something there.
Yeah, I mean, you got caregivers, you have grandchildren, it really, it's this 3-generation audience if you include him in it. Yeah, it all really was working.
Very special.
So the softcover Rudolph poem booklet was first distributed by Montgomery Ward during the 1939 holiday season. So, he nailed it and got it done that year. And shoppers loved it so much that 2.4 million copies were distributed.
Wow. I mean, at that time, that's pretty huge. I don't know how many Montgomery Wards there were around, but it seems like a pretty large audience segment. And so, yeah, he was onto something pretty cool and special.
Yeah, if I had to guess, they probably also sold it through their catalog, too.
Oh, makes sense.
However, if you think about the timing, A year or so later, something big happened that sort of put a kibosh on things like, paper and printing.
Oh, that's right. That whole war thing.
Yeah, so World War II hits, and then there were restrictions on paper and printing, and that prevented a reissue of the book all the way until 1946. So 7 years later. And in that year, Montgomery Ward gave away another 3.6 million softcover copies to shoppers. During this time, this is right before the war starts. This is late spring, early summer, late May, 1941. May married Virginia Newton, who was a secretary at Montgomery Ward. So this was his second wife. And she had completed 1 year of college in Chicago before having to drop out during the Depression. So, I mean, gee whiz, it's like you've got the Depression, you've got a war, all this stuff.
Yeah, really.
But she was an accomplished artist and took classes at the Art Institute of Chicago. And the two of them ended up having 5 children together.
Wow. Did they name them like Donner and Blitzen? Like, because they almost had as many kids as Santa has reindeer.
Yeah, Comet and Cupid.
Yeah, Comet, Cupid. I'd love to have a kid named Comet, wouldn't you?
Dopey, Sleepy.
Envy, Gluttony, Sloth.
Now you're talking about the Goonies.
Oh, that's right.
And in 1946, May received an offer from RCA Victor, which wanted to do a spoken word record of the poem. But there was just one problem. He couldn't give approval because he didn't own it. Montgomery Ward owned the rights to it.
Montgomery Ward owned it, yeah. Work for hire right there.
Bingo.
Yeah, so what happened?
Yeah, what happened? At the encouragement of Wilbur H. Norton, a company vice president, Montgomery Ward's president, a guy named Sewell Avery, gave May the copyright to the poem free and clear. So that was pretty nice.
That was really cool.
However, the transfer didn't take effect until New Year's in 1947, so that Montgomery Ward could again distribute the book as a 1946 holiday giveaway.
Yeah, so this is good news, right?
Sort of. May had difficulty finding a publisher for what was now his Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer poem book. Mm-hmm. Nobody wanted him, he said, because with 6 million copies already distributed, right? So he said, finally I found a publisher, a little guy with a big nose, who said he knew what it was like for Rudolph and was willing to take a chance on printing.
Wow.
And so this quote-unquote little guy was named Harry Elbaum, and he was head of Maxton, Maxton Publishers, which was a small New York company that he had put together a couple years before in 1945. And Maxton published the first commercial edition of Rudolph just in time for the 1947 Christmas season. And so Elbaum printed 100,000 copies of the book, but this time it was hardcover. And he sold them for 50 cents each, and the book was a great success.
Wow. Man. So 50 cents each, and he printed 100,000 at 50 cents each. So $50,000 in 1947 was nothing at all to sneeze at.
No, that's close to $690,000 today.
Wow. Yeah, pretty good.
It's almost as much as our bar tab.
Luckily, it's covered by the sponsors that we get filling out our show.
Yeah, right now our only sponsor is the bar.
That's right. Yeah.
But a spoken word 45 record of the poem, narrated by a guy named Paul Wing. And remember that name, Todd, so don't bank that. Right. With music by a guy named George Klesinger, was also a success. And a number of other Rudolph products were also starting to get rolled out that same year. So there was a stuffed reindeer toy. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Picture puzzle books, and I think you might have these. Children's slippers. Do you have a pair of children's slippers of Rudolph?
Love them. Man. Okay, so that's cool. So Mr. May was starting to understand the value of merchandising, right?
Yes.
And speaking of merchandising, I wish more people would buy our merch so we could chip away at this bar tab.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. We have several excellent stocking stuffers to choose from.
Yeah, so Elliot, if I could give you one of our stocking stuffers, what would you choose? Stickers?
Nope.
Magnets?
Nope.
Okay, then what?
The airline-sized bottles of booze you have in your house. They'll fit in my stocking perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be right back. Hi. We want to take a moment to mention that if you're enjoying this episode, we have an archive of topics ranging from the Olympics to movie posters,
Think Ghostbusters.
iconic images,
Think Bigfoot.
punk music,
The Ramones.
Saturday morning cartoons,
The Pink Panther.
and failed products like OK Soda. Visit our website at twodesignerswalkintoabar.com for full episode notes and visuals, the latest blog content, and to sign up for our newsletter.
Follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Find the links on our website or search using the phrase Two Designers Walk Into a Bar.
Most importantly, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more people like you find podcasts like this.
And tell a friend about us. Send them a link to our podcast from your listening platform of choice.
And if you're inclined, buy our merchandise. Stickers, coasters, magnets, t-shirts. We're designers. We make good stuff, and it helps support the show.
Get in touch. Use the contact form on our website or send an email to hello@twodesignerswalkintoabar.com.
We read every message we get. Honest.
And we're available for speaking gigs. Email us to learn more.
Okay, now, back to the bar. All right, so in the first half of our drama, we understood the origins of Rudolph. I'm reading it like the movie guy would.
Oh, wow.
And,
Okay. Yeah, I thought I
in a
was sitting in
world-
the movies.
I know, in a world
In a
without
world.
movies. So.
Yeah, okay.
But before the break, we were talking about merchandising specifically. And I hope Montgomery Ward at least sold some of this stuff. Is that how Rudolph, we know today, took off, to use a pun there?
Ah, clever. You know, Todd, as we always say in marketing, but wait, there's more.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Waiting.
Okay. So I hope you're sitting down, right?
Okay.
You're comfy in your Rudolph slippers. Take a seat.
Yeah.
Grab your drink. Okay. In 1948, May persuaded his brother-in-law, a guy named Johnny Marks. I love that name.
I
Johnny
love that
Marks.
name. Johnny Marks.
To write the words and music for a musical adaptation of Rudolph. And though the song was initially turned down by such popular vocalists of the era, like Bing Crosby and Dinah Shore, you may have heard of them.
Yeah, heard of them, yeah.
Yeah. It was finally recorded in 1949 by some guy named Gene Autry. Remember him?
Yeah, the singing cowboy.
So his wife actually persuaded him to sing it. And I think we know how that turned out.
It was a huge hit. And you know what? All these years, I actually thought Gene Autry wrote that.
No.
So that was the actual poem that he sang.
Yes. So the song became a phenomenal success and ended up being recorded by many other famous artists, including Mitch Miller, Dean Martin, Perry Como, all your favorites, Todd.
Yeah.
And it eventually was, of course, recorded by Bing Crosby. So
And the Jackson 5.
and it became the second most popular Christmas tune of all time, surpassed only by White Christmas.
Oh, yeah, another Bing Crosby classic. Wow. Well, yeah, deservedly so.
Yeah, I think so. So Rudolph soon became part of American culture now.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of 1950, the Chicago Tribune wrote, quote, "There is no question but that Rudolph has become a legend. The first new and accepted Christmas legend since Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol and Clement Moore's A Visit from St. Nicholas," unquote.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, right? I mean, you got almost 100 years in between those particular ones. So, yeah, quite a big deal.
Yeah. And then 6 years later, a book on Christmas in the U.S. noted, quote, "The tale of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a very important addition to the folk celebration of Christmas. It has become popular in a short time, and there are signs that this quote-unquote rejected deer will be fused with Santa Claus and Christmas lore, end quote.
And so the reindeer had officially landed.
One could say that, yes.
Yes.
And during the 50s, more than 100 different Rudolph products were licensed and produced.
Yeah, the post-war boom we discussed in a number of past episodes on the Beats and our Tiki episodes.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Hell of an era.
Yeah.
And in 1951, as managing Rudolph increasingly became a full-time job, May created his own company, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Enterprises, and finally resigned from Montgomery Ward.
Wow.
But by 1958, Rudolph's sales had declined considerably. So May had earned a fair amount in Rudolph's early days when all these products were getting sold. But get this. At this time, the top federal income tax rate was 91 or 92% for individuals and 72% for corporations.
What? Are you kidding me?
I mean,
What?
that's insane.
Yes.
So the result was that less than 7 years after he'd quit the company, May returned to Montgomery Ward as a copy editor, quote, reminding them of company policy. Wards will take anything back, unquote. Pretty clever. Yeah, I mean, he had a way with words, as we know.
Yeah.
And then he remained at Montgomery Ward until he retired in 1970.
There's a lesson in there, kids. Never burn a bridge.
Absolutely
Never burn a bridge, folks.
So he ended up writing 2 sequels to Rudolph. The first, Rudolph's Second Christmas, was a 1951 record narrated once again by who, Todd?
Paul Wing.
Bingo. And it did not appear in book form until 1992.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
That is
and
crazy.
May had passed away in 1976, so it's not like he ever saw any of that money.
Right.
And the story is mostly told in prose, except that Rudolph speaks in anapestic tetrameter.
Okay, so I know what that is.
Oh, you
but
do?
Maybe other people don't.
Yeah,
Why don't you explain it?
I didn't know what it meant. I
I'm
looked
clear.
it up. Well, Todd, I know you're a Christmas poet. You're, a prodigy when it comes to vocabulary. So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, you have what? You got your PhD in linguistics, didn't you?
Yeah, I almost got a PhD in anapestic tetramator. Almost did. But,
Isn't that musical instrument they used to make UFO noises in old sci-fi movies?
Okay, I'd love to hear more about this.
So anyway, I had no clue what this meant. I looked it up, and it basically means a sing-song sort of rhythm. Like
Okay.
The Cat in the Hat and your favorite poem, Todd, A Visit from St. Nicholas, they both have that cadence.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
So Rudolph's Second Christmas was later republished as Rudolph to the Rescue in 2006. And then the second sequel, remember I said there were 2 books,
Yeah.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Shines Again, was published in 1954 and had the same cadence as the original story.
The anapestic whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that one.
And in addition to these sequels, a prose adaptation of the original story was published as a Little Golden Book in 1958.
So many classic stories from them. We love Little Golden Book.
They are very iconic. Maybe we should do an episode on them at some
We
point.
should.
Yeah.
We should. Yeah. They're little and golden.
So Rudolph became popular in Australia and Canada, where their Christmas is similar to ours. I mean, this makes all kinds of sense, right?
Yep. Love Canadians.
Right. I know you do. And they love you, Todd. I'm speaking on behalf of Canada when I say that.
Thank you.
And he's also popular in Europe, appearing in several foreign language editions, including Danish and French. Again, makes sense, right? Because it's Western Europe, a lot of the same traditions. However, because of the little thing we mentioned earlier in the episode when printing and paper got restricted,
Oh,
that
yeah.
pesky World War, and then the German heritage of the name Rudolph,
Ouch.
yeah, our hero remained nameless in the early French editions, but in 1975, he got the name Nicholas.
Okay. Kind of, I know, I can see where that comes from, but kind of doesn't roll off your your antiseptic pentameter like the other one.
Oh,
like
maybe
Rudolph,
we should.
Right?
I didn't bother translating it into French. Maybe there's more N stuff going on, and that makes sense.
Maybe there's some. It runs off you forget the end of the word or something. But anyway, I don't mean to end.
I
don't
forgot
mean to,
what we were talking about.
I forgot the end of the last word you said. All right. But let's get back on track here.
All right. Well, so Rudolph also has a presence in some Latin American countries where Santa Claus is not a traditional part of the holiday season, believe it or not.
Ooh.
So you don't know about Santa, but you know the guy who pulls a sleigh, which I think is pretty interesting.
That's right. Yeah. Muy bueno.
Yeah. And then, of course, Todd, we have to touch on comic books, right?
Yes.
So a licensed comic book series published by DC appeared as annual issues from 1950 to 1962, and again from 1972 through 1980.
Oh, yeah. Kids love comics.
They sure do. And in addition to his Rudolph stories, May published several other children's books. Benny the Bunny Liked Beans. Do you remember that 1940 classic?
I do not. No. I've got to put that on my list.
How about Winking Willie? That is not, in fact, an adult film. And that came out in 1948. Well, I don't know if I should say Winking Willie came out, but produced it. The book was published in 1948. And Sam the Scaredest Scarecrow in 1972. So all instant non-classics. So as you can probably figure out,
none of these came close to matching the success of Rudolph, right?
Yeah, you stuck the
Not
landing
even Winking
there.
Willie?
Yeah, well, there might be. We'll have to go on the internet later and see if.
I've got to look that up.
Yeah, see where. Yeah, make sure you put on a privacy filter first, okay? So let's shift into the legacy of Rudolph. So really, that's the reason that we're talking about him at Christmas, because everything we've talked about has kind of been in the past. But
yeah.
How does Rudolph still impact Christmas of today? So there have been a number of film adaptations of Rudolph. The first, an 8-minute animated film directed by Max Fleischer and narrated by, can you guess who, Todd?
Oh, the same guy, Paul Wing?
Bingo.
Oh,
was a 1948 promotion that was actually made by Montgomery Ward themselves.
Okay.
And it was shown at Radio City Music Hall and in hundreds of theaters around the country.
And is this the one that we see on TV around every Christmas time?
No. That would be the 1964 Rankin Bass animated television film, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And Todd, that was very special at the time because it employed a stop-motion animation technique known as animagic.
Oh, man. So maybe I was wrong before. Animagic was actually your dancer name in college, wasn't it?
No, actually it was Winking Willie.
Winking Willie, the Animagical. Yeah.
It's a different kind of stop motion. So this Rankin Bass special was a remarkable success. And actually, Todd, you'll love this trivia nugget. It's the longest running television special in American history.
Really?
Longer than Peanuts.
Yeah.
Take that, Charles Schultz.
I love it.
And then in 1975, Rankin Bass made a second Rudolph television film, which was an animated fantasy entitled Rudolph's Shiny New Year. And that aired in one of our favorite years, Todd, 1976.
Oh, yeah. Check out that episode, folks.
And then a few years later in 1979, Rankin Bass produced and released Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas. And this came out in July, which was an animated feature-length movie.
Christmas in July? It's like I'm buying a waterbed here.
And then there were several other feature-length Rudolph films that have appeared over the years. So one is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie, and that was released by Good Times Entertainment and Golden Books Family Entertainment in 1990.
Dynamite!
Yeah, so I was thinking, I guess Rerun was involved.
No, well, okay, you got your sitcoms mixed up, my friend. That was what's happening.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Good Times was
J.J.
Good
Walker.
Times.
Yeah. Temporary layoff. Okay.
Good
and then
time.
3 years later, Good Times, not to be outdone, they produced an animated sequel, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the Island of Misfit Toys.
I feel like that some days, don't you?
I do. Yeah, maybe that'll still happen before we leave the bar tonight. So one more thing as we close the circle on Rudolph. As with our episodes on stamps, the U.S. Postal Service isn't one to turn down a good pop culture opportunity, Todd. Can we agree on that?
We can agree on that.
Okay. So on November 6, 2014, 75 years after May created the character Rudolph and 50 years after the first Rankin Bass film, the Postal Service honored Rudolph by issuing 4 stamps that featured characters from the Rankin Bass production. And we'll put those on our episode page, I think.
Oh, well, you don't want to rush into things, right? So we definitely will. We'll have to deliver those stamps to our episode page.
Clever. I see what you did.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Knocking them out.
And speaking of delivery, I think this just about does it, Todd. So let's put a bow on this gift for our listeners.
Yeah, I see that your nose is looking a little red as well.
Okay, well, how about you call the bartender over?
How about I call you a cab?
Okay, happy holidays, everyone.
See you soon.